Hey guys, welcome to the Rob Kelly. I'm sorry guys, I just pressed the wrong button. My name's Dr. Rob Kelly. Hey guys, great to see you today. Is it Monday already? It can't be Monday already. It looks like it is. Hope you're having a great day, guys. This is the Dopamine Hour. We have guests on each week, amazing guests, hand-picked guests. You can't just call and ask to be on the show. You kind of got to be hand-picked by our Courtney. She'll come and find you if you need to be on the show, kind of thing. We don't meet anybody by mistake on the air, and you're not listening to this by mistake either. So what's my week been like? Well, I own that restaurant next door to my offices, the Old Indies Tea Shop. It's going really well, guys. Most guys in there are British, serving British food and everything. It's amazing. If you come over to San Antonio, come and view the offices. We'll give you a few books and all that. We'll put you on through a 9D, this new therapy we have. Software. It increases, reprograms brains with breath work as well. It's absolutely 9-dimensional. So all the subliminal messages will be on it. It'll change your life in one session. Otherwise, I'll give you $1,000. How's that? It's just absolutely mind-blowing what we have these days in the office. And we'll take you next door and I'll feed you free of charge. So San Antonio is where we are, guys. Don't forget the other offices we have around. Just before I bring my guest on, guys, you got to remember the foundation, the Rob Kelly Foundation.org. If you want to donate $1. What's wrong with you? $1. And if you can't afford it, maybe we'll give you $1. You never know. Who knows? Jump on TikTok. There's all my details. If you want to jump on there. And there, of course, is the Facebook deal. And there we are. So visit the website if you want, guys. This show is not to sell anything. It's just to come out and have fun. Good for patients, good for money. Thank you. We don't need you. We just want to save a life. That's why we're on here today. So who do we go around and who we look at? We got Will Gordon on the show. Some of you may know I was on his podcast, and what an amazing guy. In fact, he's probably the only time I've ever done this, but I think either just towards the end or just after I contacted Courtney to get this down. I'm sure the story is phenomenal. He's an amazing guy. He's too good looking for this show, but we're going to let him on. If you go and look at me while I'm on the show, that'll be good. But such a great guy, man. So Will Gordon, man, he's on the show right after this. Breaking news, guys, the Dopamine Hour is back on. Will Gordon, how you doing, my man?
I am doing fantastic, Dr. Rob. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm more excited about you coming on the show than a lot of people, and I'll tell you why. Because talk about coming back from the odds is phenomenal. And I found the more I've looked into you, and I'm looking at your bio, I'm not looking away from you guys, the more I was intrigued. But like I say, I was on your show, it's like, Courtney, get this guy on my show now. Awesome. So Will Gordon, man, I've got all these details.
You're too kind.
Thank you. All these details will be flashing around at the bottom, guys, where you can get hold of it. But in the interim period, Will, tell everybody who you are and why you're here.
Hello, everybody. My name is Will Gordon. I run a podcast called the Willpower Podcast. A little bit of backstory about me. So I, similar to Dr. Rob over here, had a very severe drinking problem basically my whole life, from the age of 14 all the way to 36. It was so severe that on May 2nd of 2023, I drank myself to 2 weeks left of life. So that's just shows you a little bit about how severe my drinking was. After the transplant itself, excuse me, I awoke and I said, that's it. I'm done. I'm going to be a different person. And I changed my entire life. And what I did was, man, it's a lot. So what I did was I got up, I looked at my wife with tears and I said, hon, this is it. I'm going to change my life. And there was still a ton of more that I can get into, but I had a kidney transplant after that. That's how severe the drinking was. I also had an ileostomy surgery because my stomach exploded, which meant that I only had 24 hours of life left. So they had to do an emergency surgery on me. Then they had to reverse that surgery 6 months later. And then I had some bile duct issues, and then I had the kidney transplant just about a year ago. So I'm actually not even a year out. And then I just woke up on my birthday, on my 38th birthday, back in August, and I said, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to advocate for how ridiculously overrated alcohol is and how severely dangerous it can be and how it can just take like a normal teacher like myself. That was my profession for 13 years. I was a middle school and high school teacher, and I took that experience and I put it into the podcast, and it seems to be doing pretty well. And I'm just so excited to be here, Dr. Rob. Thank you again for having me.
Wow, so much to your first 2 minutes, so much to unravel there. So talk to me about I take it you had liver problems. How did you know about that? It was purely the drinking, correct? And how did you get on the transplant list?
So it's tricky. So like I said earlier, I suffered from severe alcoholism from 14 to 36. I mean, it really ramped up when I hit the age of 30. Once I hit 30, I started to notice that my life was shit. I couldn't do anything without alcohol. My life basically revolved around alcohol. So every single day I had to get up, I had to drink a big bottle of vodka just to get through just to get back to normal, homeostasis level. And then as that progression of drinking, as many alcoholics can relate to, the effect of alcohol no longer lingers. It's almost like it's a part of your soul. It's ingrained into who you are. And yes, so I started to feel, this is when it got really serious. I started to feel the pain of the liver when I was driving to work every morning. My skin was turning yellow. I was becoming jaundiced. I was very well aware, I'm a teacher, this is a very contradictory thing, right? I'm a hypocrite. I'm going and molding young minds, while on the other end of it, when I'm home, I am blacking out drunk in my room. Mind you, I'm not going out. I'm not socializing. I'm in my room drinking to excess every single night. And you know what? That will catch up with you. It doesn't matter what age you are. I mean, 36 is really young to get a liver transplant, but you'd be surprised with how many people, especially post-COVID, are experiencing such a traumatic experience in a life-saving experience as I did.
Okay. If you don't want to talk about this, just tell me to be quiet. Was you going to teach while you were drunk on the night before?
Yeah, unfortunately, I would. I wouldn't be like hammered drunk. I would just be back to normal again. And then I would be able to kind of get through the day. What I noticed though was, and I was a great teacher. The first 10 years of my career, I was killing it, right? But I don't know if it was a lack of insecurity, not liking who I was, falling victim to the, self-deprecating way of living, just no passion, I felt like I just was so lost as a person that I couldn't see a way up. And honestly, alcohol was the only thing that alleviated any kind of anxiety towards existing on this earth. And it was just a very scary process. I tried to quit. My longest stint I did was 125 days, but I did it, Dr. Rob, the most backwards way you could do it. I didn't have a support system. I didn't have someone like a sponsor, someone looking out on my behalf, advocating for me. And it just spiraled out of control to the point where I was like, I completely succumbed to the presence of alcohol, and I don't know what else to do. And then that's when things got really bad. That's when things got out of control.
So was you let go from teaching, or did you go into hospital and then not go back? How did that go down?
Did I go to the hospital and come back?
What was you let go from your teaching job?
So I was let go. I was never fired. Interestingly enough, I think that just shows as a testament to my character and the level of work I was doing. I was never fired, but I was never rehired after 3 years. I noticed like a pattern. So every 3 years, I would have to kind of bounce around from teaching job to teaching job, and a lot of that had to do with because once I was in complete addiction, alcohol addiction, I noticed that the chemistry of my brain was changing. My personality was changing. My drive was changing. I no longer got up with the excitement of life. I forgot how precious life is. And because of that, things really spiraled out of control. I lost my identity. I don't know who I was those last 10 years of my life up until the transplant. It just seems like a blur to me because it really was. It was a robot. I was just on automatic pilot mode, just getting up, drinking, having the effects of the withdrawal symptoms, having to drink, having the effects of the withdrawal, having to drink. My stomach is all messed up, like everything. I'm 250 pounds. Right now I'm 170. Wow. Like it just shows you just how much of a terrible, just terrible substance alcohol is. It takes over your body, it takes over your mind, it takes over your motivation, the things that you enjoy, your hobbies, you name it, it takes it and it steals it away.
You know, I was just thinking, I was sat and listening to that story, and I'm actually there with you. You know, not your job not being renewed after 3 years, the guilt, the shame, the remorse, the stuff that we carry with us going through this journey really hit me. God, it's such a lonely place, Will, yeah?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, when you think about it, Dr. Rob, 10 years of the prime of my life is completely it's just gone. You know, to live with everyone is living with regret, but to live with a 10-year long regret, that's quite a big regret, right? And that's something I'll have to live with for the rest of my life. And another thing that's, obviously very important too is I'm a 2-time transplant patient, so I am on constant medication. I probably jeopardized how long I'll live. I'm sure I would have lived longer if I never had this problem, or if I never had to undergo a 2-time transplant. So it just became unmanageable and really, really scary. I was fearful of my life. Basically, every day was just, I was getting up and I was living in fear. It was just a terrible way to live. And it was all because of alcohol, all because of the biological, my father was a big drinker, his father, so on and so forth. So I knew it was ingrained in me from such a young age. At 14, I loved it, like right away. It made me the person I always wanted to be. It was exciting. It was new. I would say things off the cuff. Like, I would be funny. Well, this is all, this is all hindsight, but I guess there was some truth to it, because once I started to drink, I became more popular. I had a bigger group of, friends, and I was having fun, but then the fun slowly, there's diminishing returns, right? After a certain level, you start to kind of dip down. And then once that level of dependency comes into play, and I've lost all of my relationships and I've lost all my connections with everyone because of the alcohol, it just became just a nightmare,
Wow. Guys, stick around. Gordon and myself will be back after this 90 breath work, guys. Really need to get into this.
Feeling overwhelmed? Discover the healing power of 9D breathwork and find your peace. 9D breathwork is a revolutionary practice designed to help you heal from trauma. It's about harnessing the power of your breath to release emotional pain and find inner peace. Imagine taking a deep breath and feeling the weight lift off your shoulders. With 9D breathwork, you can experience profound transformations in your mental health. This technique combines rhythmic breathing, guided visualization, and sound therapy to create a holistic healing experience. It's simple, yet powerful. Studies show that controlled breathing can reduce stress, anxiety, and even symptoms of PTSD. By integrating 9D breathwork into your routine, you're taking a proactive step toward reclaiming your life from trauma. So why not give it a try? Unleash the power of your breath and start your journey to a healthier, happier you. Take a deep breath and let 9D breathwork guide you to a brighter future. Transform your life, one breath at a time.
So I was put that commercial on for our 9D, of course, but again, no, time to shut up if you don't want to talk. I was watching you off screen, and you kind of went somewhere over here a little bit, and what was you thinking just then?
That's interesting. You just that you noticed that. Yeah, I really. So now that it's hard to explain. So when you wake up from a life-saving operation, what do you do, right? What do you do next? And that's what I was thinking right there. I was thinking, wow, like, look where I am now. Look, if look where I am. Like, look how beautiful the world is. Like, I'm looking at a big pile of snow next to my window here in Boston, and just can't believe that I'm here. So it's so precious, and it just amazes me that alcohol's stripped that from me. It stripped it from me, and I had no passion. I had no drive. I had no identity. And that moment right then, when the breathwork ad was on right then, I started to think, wow, I cannot believe I'm still alive. I cannot believe I'm still alive. And I'm here talking to someone as distinguished as you are, Dr. Rob, and someone who I've always admired. So I just can't imagine that my life is this now. Like everything is better since I've been sober. Everything is better. My relationship with my wife is better. My relationships with my family has never been better. My wife and I, we moved to this beautiful place that we're living in now. Like all these things I never could have done, with the alcohol still in my system. But once I got rid of it, all of a sudden my life is like, it's opening doors. I'm seeing new things. My objective presence of the world is always positive. It's never pessimistic, and I was always a pessimistic person. So it's the glass is half full, Dr. Rob, and I was taking a moment to kind of take it all in. So thank you for actually noticing that.
Well, my second PhD in behavioral science did cut to waste. I love after the talk and everyone shifts over to the next person talking. I'm always watching the person that's just finished because, God, man, this is such a good podcast. You know, to have life almost taken away from you
Mm-hmm.
and keeping the same. I often say that, people go through this. We get two lives in one lifetime. First one that we mess up, and the second one that we what do we do with the second? We have to stay in gratitude, we have to stay in the now, and not get complacent and all that great stuff. Because I noticed that with me that I got the cars in the house and I just pulled away.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
I had to learn how to love myself again. And that was really, really difficult, to go for 10 straight years of straight alcohol addiction, like not remembering almost those 10 years. That's how bad it was. To all of a sudden being in a place of presence, mindfulness, appreciation, love, compassion, you name it. These are all the things that I subscribe to now in my life. I get up in the morning, I write in my gratitude journal, this is what I'm grateful for. And it is the most minute things ever. I'm grateful for milk in the fridge. I'm grateful that I'm sober this morning. I'm grateful that my organs are working and I'm not having organ failure or rejection. I'm grateful that my parents love me still. Like all these things, they're little and we don't pay attention to them. But if we keep a simple mindful practice towards those things in our life, there's so much growth that can happen. And that's how I feel like my life is now. It's just filled with growth and love and boundless ambition.
Looking back, two things I want to ask you first of all. Talk to me about the last day. The last day when you finally pulled away. Where was you? What you were doing? And how did you feel?
Yeah, that last day was tough. That was a tough day. It was almost like if you were watching a movie, that would be the pivotal scene in that movie where the guy gets his life together. So what happened was I knew I was dying. They gave me 2 weeks left of life. To get a liver transplant, you need to be 6 months sober. I was not. I was really sick, so I was about 4. So I didn't have a drink. But on January 28th of 2023, that was coincidentally my father's birthday, who just passed away, unfortunately. But he was with me through the whole process. And on January 28th, 2023, I had my last drink, and that last drink was awful. I went out, I got a big giant bottle of Smirnoff. I did my normal routine, filled up all the water bottles, stuffed them all in different hiding places that I had that my wife didn't know about, because she found all of them, but she didn't know about these ones. And I went, it was almost like I wanted to get caught. It was really surreal. So I went in, got the bottles, took them into the house, and I chugged it. And as I'm in mid chug, and this is on my father's birthday, we're about to have a huge family gathering. My wife sees it and she just loses it. She loses it and I lose it. And we're having this big argument. And then all of a sudden we're at my folks' home, by the way, because we're going to the party. And all of a sudden, it was the first time I finally gave myself the admission to release this demon of alcohol and say, I can't control this anymore. I am done. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I'm dying. Clearly, I'm dying. I'm huge. I'm filled with ascites. I'm jaundiced. It's just a murder scene, honestly. And then next thing I know, I just hear my father walking like towards the door to see what's going on. And I just broke down, cried, and I just hugged him. And he was a huge drinker too. So it was a very an emotional moment. And then we went right to the hospital and I didn't leave. That was the moment that I admitted to myself, to my family, to everyone that alcohol is a problem in my life. I cannot control it anymore, and I need help. And that was the most pivotal, important, emotional moment of my entire life.
I don't know, man. This is pretty emotional for me just listening to this. Wow.
Yeah. And another interesting thing about that moment was my father, like he didn't look at me from a judging perspective. He looked at me from a graceful, understanding perspective. And that's what I was always seeking, was this someone who understands me. Like my wife was very supportive. She was always there, but she never had a problem. So it was hard to relate to that. So as supportive as she was, someone like my father, who definitely he definitely suffered from severe alcohol addiction, but he was from the old school. Like when I would see his hand shake till 5 p.m. every night. And then that 5 p.m. switch would hit and then he would just be off to the races, but very similar drinking style, very kind of in your room, do your own thing, keep your mind to the alcohol and everything else is gone. But yeah, it was just like an unbelievable emotional experience to just give in, succumb to the alcoholism, and say I need help. And that's such a pivotal thing in recovery, is just admitting that you needed help. And I don't know why as humans we're so scared to do that.
Yeah, I think a lot is the trauma and stuff. And I like to think that nobody else is suffering from this and stuff. So looking back now, what was the lesson you took from all of that today?
From the whole experience?
Yeah.
The lesson. Well, Dr. Rob, I would say that we're all learning a lesson. That's what life is. It's just a multitude of lessons. And as much as I would never wish this upon my worst enemy, a liver and a kidney transplant, and in a ileostomy, and a reversal ileostomy, and a bile duct surgery, so many other complications thereafter. I would say the biggest lesson was that I needed to find passion. I needed to find love. I needed to find who I was, and I needed to admit that I'm stronger than I think I am. And now that I woke up, and I'm getting like emotional thinking about this. Now that I'm here and I'm present and I'm mindful and I'm aware and and I practice gratitude on a daily basis, and I'm just so thankful that I'm still alive. It's a moment in time that will always be near and dear to me, and that's why I always wear this Donate Life bracelet on my wrist. I never take it off, and it's a daily reminder of the people who had to pass away for me to continue on. So I'm always grateful for that. But the main lesson is I learned to love myself again, and that was really difficult, because I think I went my whole life without that. Yeah.
Very few times like this to find.
Really, it's a lot. It's a lot. But you know what, Rob? Now I take all that suffering, Dr. Rob, and I embrace it, and I use it, and I harness it, and then I put it out into the world, just how I'm talking to you right now. And it really resonates with a lot of people. I get emails, I get direct messages on Instagram, because that's kind of where I'm at, and YouTube, and then in the messages I see of like, hey man, like your vulnerability saved me last night. I was gonna drink and I didn't. Like that, you can't put a dollar sign on that. That is something so intrinsically rewarding that I couldn't even imagine that I'd be in this place to even give advice, right? But it's learned experience. It's learned attrition to to alcohol. I learned the experiences because of it, and I'm better because of the transplant itself. And everyone talks about rock bottom. Yeah, my rock bottom was almost dying. 2 weeks left of life. That's what they gave me. And they gave me a 50% chance of living after my stomach exploded, and they had to put my colon into the side of my body. Like it was really touch and go there. And once, this experience has made me a better person, and it has completely changed how I look at life. Like I get up now and I'm so grateful. I can't believe like I'm still here. I can't believe I'm talking to you. I cannot believe that everything is better. And when you're in active addiction, you just never think it's going to get better. You just can't see a way out. And I never could see a way out, but here I am, and I'm just so blessed. I'm so blessed, and I'm so grateful.
Stories like that in a humble way that you tell me that You're not here to sell anything. You're not here to promote any books. You just give that hardcore truth, but you went through it. And then to survive that, it's just incredible. Really speechless.
It's almost like, if there's a higher power, which I do believe there is something out there. My time wasn't done yet. Like, this was my journey. Everyone has their journey. This was mine. Unfortunately, it was a liver transplant and a kidney transplant, but because of the process of going through those things and having to do that self-reflection and that constant, I was in the hospital for so long, and I was on dialysis too for about a year and a half. Those 4-hour sessions every other day, just sitting there thinking about all the mistakes I did and all the people I disappointed and all the relationships I ruined. And there was this really interesting night in the hospital when it was really touch and go. I was in septic shock. So it was very confusing. I didn't know where I was. It was really scary. And what I did that night, I made amends to, I basically went through every relationship I had, and I went to that point, that moment where it became ruined. And I went to that moment and I said to each person in my life, I'm so sorry. And I hope that you forgive me. And it was really it was almost like they were right there next to me. And I was doing that to every person in my life that was important to me. And all of a sudden, because it was really touch and go, I woke up and I noticed that I started to get better. I started to feel better. Things were getting brighter. My arms were moving again because I had to learn how to walk. I was in the hospital for so long. I had to relearn how to walk. I was walking better the next day. I was eating better. I had an appetite again. It was like this very spiritual experience that I had there that night. And I think about that often that night. It was almost like I finally said, I'm done. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I'm human, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry on the most genuine, authentic level that a human could possibly express it. And that's when everything changed.
So what does Will do today? How are we giving that back? How are we changing lives? How are we saving lives on a daily basis? What do we do?
Yeah, how are we doing that? Well, I started my channel. So I woke up on my 38th birthday and I said, I'm going to make a difference, because that was the moment where I started to, I had the kidney transplant. I was starting to heal. I finally was at the level of healthy, I was healthy enough to kind of be, so my cognitive level was better. The clarity of a sober mind. And I said, what do you do when you have a second chance at life? You go for it. You go for it. So I started my channel. It picked up steam, and it's continuing to pick up steam. And I'm meeting different guests, and I'm spreading the gospel about, like the neuroscience behind alcoholism, how it's not just physically dependent. It actually changes your brain chemistry, and how it changes your gut biomes, and how it just changes everything about you, your drive, your motivation, your hobbies, your, all the things I mentioned earlier. It changes all those things. And now I pursue my hobbies. I pursue the things that it bring excitement to my life. I pursue anything that shows that brings me towards interest, love, compassion, whatever. I just spread awareness. I spread love. I spread everything that I can to advocate on the very terrible effects of alcohol. So in the response has been just so overwhelmingly positive. And I can't thank enough for all the people out there who have reached out, talked to me, all the conversations that I've had. I think I've had 30 episodes of people who have overcome severe adversity and are better for it. And I just can't believe that I'm now in this position to do so.
What a great journey, man. Absolutely great journey. Oh my God, great journey. Will, where can people get hold of you?
Yeah. So it's at the Willpower Podcast on Instagram and at the Willpower Podcast on YouTube. Make sure you look for Will Gordon, though, because there's a lot of Willpower podcasts. But I like the name, how it has the double connotation to it.
I got your email down as well. They're free to email you, correct?
Absolutely, yes. Please reach out. Please come on over. Check it out. I'd love to have you. Love to get the conversations going and just help as many people as I can, because I suffered for so long. I'm taking all that energy and I'm giving it back. I'm just giving it back.
Now, do you work with people as well, as a coach? Well,
yeah, I've actually done a few. So now that I'm getting more comfortable and I'm a little more self-aware of the science behind of addiction and stuff like that, and I'm taking some classes and And I'm realizing that there's a lot more to addiction that I want to be keyed in on. And now I am helping people. I am having one-on-one meetings. I'm doing like half-hour meetings, hour meetings, monthly meetings with some people. And it's very helpful to me because it keeps me sober. And it also it's very helpful to them because they can see the level of compassion and love that I'm giving them from like the most vulnerable level that I could. And that resonates, hugely to many. So yes, I am doing that kind of thing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. Apologies again. You know me, guys. If I'm supposed to be there at 11, I'm there at 10:30. Today, something went over. I'm so embarrassed. I kept Will waiting for 9 minutes, for goodness sake. And I apologize for that, Will. I really do. It upset me for the day. I hate doing that, man.
Oh, don't worry about
it. With me. Thank you for waiting. And what a great guy. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
And thank you so much, Dr. Rob, for having me on. This has been such a pleasure just to talk to you again. So thank you.
That's fine. Of course. We'll be right back after this, guys.
You need to hear this if you're a podcast lover, craving more happiness and growth. On the Dopamine Hour, Dr. Rob Kelly dives into the secrets of happiness, mental health, and personal growth. Want to learn how to rewire your brain for joy? Or maybe you're curious about mastering your mental health? Dr. Kelly's got you covered with expert advice and real-life stories that hit home. Whether you're looking to elevate your daily life or seeking deeper personal insights, this podcast is your go-to guide. Tune into the Dopamine Hour and join a community focused on living their best lives. Subscribe now and start your journey to a happier, healthier you with Dr. Rob Kelly. Trust me, you don't want to miss this.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is the Dopamine Hour. Will Gordon was on the show, man. Oh my God. I don't know what happened this morning, maybe because I'm rushing a little bit and I'm late and I don't like being late, but that really kind of hit me right in the chest. And, it's very rarely that I don't know, can't explain it, man. It's affected me in a good way, but I've never been affected that way with some extent of the story. Because you hear lots of things, like I died and, alcohol, drugs and stuff, but when you come away, the bed, he's talking in bed when he's doing dialysis, like 4 hours, 2 days, I think he said, and he's thinking and he's, sending amends. It's just, wow. Janet Granger, own podcast. Granger is here. What life's all about, man. And that every hour shouldn't be taken for granted. Every minute shouldn't be taken for granted. And it's a shame with human beings that we have to go to such tragic lengths to understand and appreciate why we're on this earth. Appreciate that one kind word, one gesture, anything like that could change somebody's life. And I think that's what it's about today, guys. I think it's about, if you can change your life today, please do. So this is what I always tell my patients, guys. Be kind to everybody. You just don't know what they're going through. So there's a guy that goes to Golden Gate Bridge, throws himself off. Police pull him out, go back to his apartment for the next little kid. You find a letter on the kitchen table, and it read, I'm going to walk to the Golden Gate Bridge, I'm going to jump off and end it all. Unless on the way there, which was an hour walk, somebody smiles at me, says hello, waves at me, nods at me, and right there I'll stop, I'll turn around, I'll come back to the apartment, and I'll try again tomorrow. My question is to people is, how many people have you walked past today who's heading to that Golden Gate Bridge? See, we never know. And I think the world would be a better place if we just took that second or 2 seconds out of our lives. Compliment 3 people today, guys, please. You just never know how you can change a life. You really don't. And if you're unsure whether you can change the world with complimenting, because next time you're in a built-up area of people, look for somebody walking towards you. Sneakers are always the best. When they walk towards you, go, nice sneakers. It's 2 words. Nice sneakers. Say it every day, thank you. Hello, nice sneakers. He'll probably go, oh, thank you, man. Watch him as he's walking away from you. He's going to look down at his sneakers at least 2 or 3 times. Now you've just changed his world. But guess what? When he goes home to the wife or girlfriend because he's in a good mood, now she's in a good mood, then the mother-in-law calls and you get chance. You just never know. Be that person today, man. Last but not least, I always love, and the thing is, don't give a crap what people think about you. Life's too short for that stuff. They're probably not even thinking about you anyway, unfortunately. It's what we think they do. Stay away from people that not in the same circle and not in the same vibration level as you are. Stick with the people that you want to be. We can always go back and help them people from my side, from our council state, but I just can't live them. Be kind to each other this week. Have a fantastic week. If you need to get hold of me or Will, you know where I am, guys. I think you should just, anybody that resonates with Will's story, man, you need to speak. Even if you don't end up working with him, I think you need an hour of his time and just see what he can do for you with coaching. I think it just changed my life. You think I'm joking? I can't speak. I don't know why that hit me. That's marked, but it. Wow. Like shit, I was sat here this morning, got loads of stuff in there, and I'm just doing it as if it was nothing, and surrounded by all these things I've been life, and sometimes you just forget that. And I needed grounding, but that's it. Oh, well, thank you for joining today. And guys, take care. See you next time.